Today I thought we would go into this Colt again and look at the parts that are going to be involved with what we call half cock. And the 1911 has a famous position called half cock. It's just to protect you in case you are cocking the hammer with your thumb and you let it slip, let it go, it will fall to the safe half cock position. It's supposed to capture the hammer just shy of hitting the firing pin. And on my gun, I had a problem with the Sear itself was soft. It's an M.I.M part. That's this small piece right here. That little small piece. Shown this on several of my other videos, and I'll show you a close-up view of this here in a minute. But the portion of this that rides against the hammer that's supposed to control the hammer and keep it either fully cocked or in half cock, they notched that. So it has a small notch right in the middle of it, and their thinking was, this is what I've read from Colt, was they wanted this in a competition gun to be able to protect itself in case you drop the hammer to the half cock position. The machined portions or the controlled surfaces of the Sear would not strike hard, and it has a small square stub in the center of the hammer that falls into that non-machined notch, and that's supposed to protect your Sear. Unfortunately, that also leaves you with 33% reduction of your Sear's control surfaces. So in my case, because the hammer notches were cut so shallow and the Sear itself was a soft part, an M.I.M, metal injection molded part, I was loading my gun the other day. I put a full magazine into the gun. I was up in the man cave. I let the slide go and the gun fired without touching the trigger. I have well documented that. I will show you a video of that, try to attach it to this one if I can. In view, all I'm doing is letting the slide go. Slide stop. Here we go. Oh boy, look at that. You see that all my fingers are still on the grip of that gun. All I did is let the slide go. Notice how it handled the round too. That's the effect of having a Sear that's made out of shrinky-dink material. And I have taken this gun completely apart to show that. Here's another thing you need to learn right now. Say, well, you didn't even pull the trigger. And please, I don't need any comments from anybody about that I need to sue Colt or any of that other stuff. These guns are just machines. It's not Hollywood. It's not magic. Things go wrong. Things break. I personally prefer not to have the soft M.I.M parts in a gun. I know they can be done right. I understand that Ruger has done very well through the years, but most of Ruger stuff is investment casting, and that's a different animal altogether. On the right-hand side of this picture, you'll see the TISAS Raider. It uses a totally different part, and all their parts inside their guns are made from tool steel. They do not use M.I.M parts. When this company in Turkey first started up, they did have some M.I.M parts, and they realized that the true shooters in America that want to do some serious shooting, they want to use it for personal defense, for duty use, they do not like M.I.M parts. And people are learning real quick. Some can be made right, some can be made inferior quality. So what we're going to look at today is how this is designed to operate, and I'm going to try to show you with the camera laid out like it is, and then I will zoom in and show you some more details. But if you look at how this is set up on the TISAS, when you're cocking the hammer, all you're doing is this part is pinned in the gun, and you're cocking the hammer and you go like this, and then if it falls to half cock, this one has a very large notch cut across it. And you can zoom in, do a pinch and zoom in on your cell phone and see that easily. It's a large notch. So as you're cocking the hammer to the rear, if it gets away from you and slips, what'll happen is that Sear, which is fully faced all the way across, and it's a tool steel part, it will fall into that notch. So, well, it doesn't look like you can get it to go any further. You're not supposed to be able to. That's a safety catch. That notch is half cock, and you'll notice on this gun, when you go to pull the trigger, if you're in half cock, that trigger won't move a bit. It'll feel like it's locked. So how do you get out of that? Well, you've got to go ahead and cock the gun all the way back to where it's supposed to be, and then it will fall on the other notch, which is here, and that's your actual full cock notch. And then you would put your thumb safety on and you're ready for duty. Or if you want to fire the gun, you'd go ahead and pull the trigger, and it will push on the bottom of this right here. That's where your trigger bow is going to push, and it will push that and cock that sear out. And when it does, it gets in that position, then the hammer is going to glide right past all that and fall and hit the firing pin. But the problem with the Colt was it was just so shallow in the way that they built it that it's literally just sitting on a ledge on both of them. On the fully cocked, when you cock this hammer to the rear, there's a strut hanging down that goes to your mainspring. When you cock this to the rear, its part that it's supposed to ride against was just next to nothing, okay? And then the sear itself has that notch in it, so it doesn't engage very well. And what happened was, when I let the slide go, the bounce of the trigger and that weakened rounded edge of that sear jumped off of the main cock notch, the fully cocked notch, and instead of falling to the half cock and stopping right there, it skipped that also, bounced off it, and let the hammer fall and fired the gun. Now, the first time that it did this, I was in the man cave. I was up in my bedroom. I had had the Colt mag. It was full of rounds, and the gun was all put together. I've shot this gun about 300 rounds, and I loaded the mag in, and all I did was hit the slide release. That slide release let the slide go forward, picked up the first round, and when it went to battery position, it fired the gun into my mattress. And I really appreciate the kind words. I've had a few people that were really kind and said, man, I'm glad nobody got hurt. Well, I was following all the rules. I was pointing the gun in a safe direction. I always anticipate that a gun could go off when you're loading it. And everybody says, well, they're not designed to do that. I understand that. There's lots of things that are not designed to do something, but they do it anyway. And that's called mechanical properties. And I try not to argue with people. Some people will get on my channel and they want to argue, but that's not what this channel is about. This channel that you're on, you have come to a very high quality, good channel, a good place to be, because you are at a place, I'm going to call it a distillation. Now, we're not making corn squeezins. We're not doing white lightning, no alcohol involved. When I say distillation, I'm talking about the distillation of knowledge. I've got 40 years of experience of working on guns, and I have read pretty much every gun magazine ever written in America. And I have dealt with a lot of professional shooters and professional gunsmiths and people that sell gun parts, like Mr. Bill Wilson. He's right here in Arkansas with us, and he sells some top-notch parts. If you want to get a good quality hammer and a good quality sear, Mr. Bill Wilson at Wilson Combat sells those parts. Also, one that I've got some really good knowledge from was Mr. Hilton M.I.M. I need to make a correction for my video the other day. Mr. Hilton M.I.M. has some parts at his website. It's called 10-8 Performance. And Mr. Hilton M.I.M. worked for 21.5 years in the FBI, Special FBI League or group in Florida. And one of his jobs that he did for the FBI was he was a gunsmith for them, and he rebuilt, maintained, tuned, and kept in tactical status the 1911 pistols for all the guys. A lot of them were shooting them. And he shot in IPSC and all the different competitions that you could shoot at 1911. Very good with the guns, and I learned a lot from him. I learned about how important it is to test your guns, to test your magazines, to test your extractor. He taught me how to read the ejection path of your empty brass when your brass goes flying across the range and comes out the side of the gun. It's not a magic, whimsical thing. It goes to a certain position based on the tuning of your extractor and the strength of your recoil spring and the power of your load. So there's a balancing point there. And because of that, I developed the Goldilocks tool. I have written a master class on tuning the extractors. You can look that up in my channel, Shoot Fire with Ashley. Just type in tune extractor master class and you'll see it. And it's a whiteboard presentation, hour long. I'll teach you how to build the Goldilocks tool, and a very easy tool to build. And then how to use that plus the trigger gauge to tune your extractors. A brand new gun coming from the factory, if it's a production gun today, needs to have the extractor tuned. I don't care who it is, don't care who builds it. This gun, when it came in, it was really close, but I still did a little bit of tuning on the extractor, and that makes a big difference in their reliability. Most of the people, when they buy a 1911, they get it out, they start shooting it, it jams a few times, and they want to sell it or send it back to the company, and that's just not necessary. Everybody that has 3/4 of a brain, I only had half a brain because I had a big tree fall on me and got severe brain damage about 3 years ago. But if you've got at least 3/4 of a brain and you can follow good instructions and you're careful, you follow safety rules, you can easily tune the extractor on your 1911. There's no reason to be fearful of it. You don't need to fear an inanimate object. There's just no reason to. You need to master it. You can learn it step by step, and you can learn how to tune your extractor. It makes a huge difference in the reliability of a 1911. Nothing wrong with the design. 1911 is past, well past the test of time of 100 years plus. One of the proofs that the 1911 is good, there's still brand new companies firing up today, buying brand new CNC equipment, lots of good steel stock, and they're building the 1911 like it's a brand new thing. And like I say, it's been around for over 100 years. So today I want to finish up by saying this. We want to talk about the importance of Mr. John Moses Browning's design, how he built this special little notch here. In the Colt, it was a lot shallower, but anyway, that Sear is designed to catch on that half cock. When you're drawing the hammer back on 1911, if you don't quite make it all the way and it gets away from you, it should fall right here. I'm going to push these pieces so you can see it. That Sear would be pinned in the frame. This is pinned in the frame so they hold the exact relationship they need from each other. But that Sear is going to fall right there in that little cradle, that little ditch that they machine into this hammer. Once that Sear falls in there, that gun is completely safe. I don't care if you drop it from the top of the Empire State Building, muzzle down, and it lands right on the muzzle, and it has a very soft primer and all that stuff. As long as you've got a firing pin spring in there like you're supposed to, titanium, you're supposed to, a gun is not going to fire. This hammer cannot move once it falls to that half notch, half cock position on this gun. So that's very important to know. And I really appreciate the way TISAS did this. I love the TISAS guns. I'm going to tell you, if you have to have a Colt nowadays, say, well, I don't want to buy a TISAS. It's made in Turkey. We're in a global society now. Everything that you buy is global. I don't care what it is. So, well, I got me a good old F-250 Ford truck. It's American built. Yeah, it's stuffed full of Chinese parts, I promise you. Well, I'm going to buy a Toyota made in Tennessee, and it's good old American-made Toyota. It's also stuffed full of Chinese parts. The computer chips and everything in it is built in China. So, well, I'm going to get me a Carhartt jacket, good American-made jacket. It's built in Mexico. Almost everything that you touch is built somewhere else. This Colt was built in America, but they used some cheap parts that they built, M.I.M parts, and they're no good. This gun cost me $1,400. I would not do this again. If you're going to get a Colt and you want to get a good quality Colt, here's the way to do it. Go to a website somewhere and find a Colt competition gun. Don't bother with the Gold Cup Trophy. Don't even bother with it. You're going to waste money. Buy a Colt competition. It will be cut for the optics on the top, and it'll run you right at $9.99. Buy the Colt. gut the parts out of it, spend $100 to $150 with a good supplier on your parts, put you some solid tool steel parts in it, follow good instructions on the internet, I'll show you how to do it, and you put the pieces in there, and then you will have a good solid American-made gun with American-made parts from Wilson Combat or Cylinder and Slide, or there's Nolan. There's several different companies that build parts that are built in America. They cut them EDM wire cut parts. They heat treat them, they polish them, they stone them, they cut them whatever size it needs to be to make it work right. And if you buy a whole trigger kit from that company, you know all the parts are going to be designed to go together. I would suggest that you get a true set that's called a drop-in set, so that you don't have to stone or file or Dremel or do anything to them. They'll work together properly. And I'm trying to think of, there's also another company called Harrison. Harrison is really a top-notch company that also makes these Sears and hammers, hammer struts, and all that stuff. And of course the disconnector. I don't show it in the picture, but we'll get to that later. So, like I say, I'm going to post pictures of these up close, and you will see the relationship of this Sear to the hammer on the TISAS Raider. You will see the relationship of the Sear to the hammer here on the Colt Gold Cup, and you will see what the weaknesses are. I want you to zoom in, pinch it and zoom in on your iPhone or whatever kind of cell phone you got. And you can zoom it, you can rotate it, and look at those edges. You'll see why that this was a problem, why it caused me an accidental discharge. And you'll see why there's just absolutely no way that you're going to have that happen if this falls into the half cock. Now, the other thing that you got to be careful on these guns is this spring. I've had a couple people call me and tell me about this. This spring right here, which they call it a Sear spring, that spring right there has two things that can be adjusted on. If you adjust this first lever here, this is your Sear engagement, this is your take up. If you adjust those too light, you can also cause this to have hammer follow, which that means the hammer's going to get away from you, and it can cause a slam fire or a fire when you let the slide go forward. In the case of this Colt, I put in a brand new Sear spring on it from Cylinder and Slide, and I put in a brand new one from Colt. It didn't make a bit of difference because the Sear was already damaged. It's chipped across its face. Instead of having a nice flat cut, it has kind of a rounded cut because the surface of this hardened Sear was only hard on the surface. It's soft in the core, and it began to peel back that edge. Just like if you took an edge of a sharp knife and laid it on a board and you started pulling on it hard like a draw blade, you would end up making the edge of it curl. It would no longer be a sharp edge, and that's what happened here. It curled that edge, and it's no longer dependable. Now, I had one man write to me and said, "I can't believe you're still shooting that gun. That's not safe." I am not still shooting this gun, folks. This gun is taken apart. It is locked out and tagged out from use. You got to see it fire into a filing cabinet, a gray filing cabinet, one shot, a total of one shot, and that's for your benefit. That's part of my channel. It's a teaching channel, a channel of distillation. I have distilled a bunch of good knowledge and got it, all the junk pulled out of it, and you're getting the pure distilled knowledge of what happened and how to avoid it. So you will get to see this gun go back together with some good solid tool steel parts all throughout. It will not have a single M.I.M part in it. I learned that from Mr. Hilton Yam. Mr. Hilton Yam, FBI. He was an FBI gunsmith, worked on the 1911 for years, and he got to where he just would not use them. And he's rebuilt a lot of guns. He's really big on Springfield. He loves the Springfield Armory. I do too. I have a daily carry. Springfield Armory. I have a range officer target that I carry as my everyday carry. But I did the same thing Hilton Yam did. I replaced all the shrinky-dink M.I.M soft parts that were inside that gun. Can they be built properly, can they be trusted? Yes, they can, but I don't. And the people that are really big on guns, especially 1911s, they don't either. Bill Wilson, Wilson Combat, you buy one of his guns at $4,500, open it up, will not have any M.I.M. You buy a Ed Brown, no M.I.M. parts. You buy a Point Man 7, it will not have any M.I.M. parts in it. And CZ bought them out, but that was a Dan Wesson. And so I want a solid stainless steel Dan Wesson, like a Point Man 7. I want it to look like this, but I want it to be a Dan Wesson gun. You can buy that. It's going to cost you $2,000. With tax out the door, it's going to run you $2,000. Say, well, I'd like to have a good American-made stainless steel gun that's just a beautiful, solid fighting gun. Go ahead and get you a Springfield Garrison in pure stainless steel, and it will have a few M.I.M. parts. And break out your wallet, spend $100, and get you some good solid parts like this TISAS has, and you'll have an American-made gun with American tool steel parts in it, and you'll be in good shape. Now, if you are not wanting to work on the gun at all, and you don't want to replace a bunch of parts, you can buy this copy right here of the Colt M45A1. This is a TISAS Raider. And this gun right here already has all of your steel parts built into it. They are all tool steel parts. They harden this gun before they machine it, and they even have a tag comes right in the box. It says hardened before machining. What does that mean? That means this frame and slide, which are forged, will be hardened to the exact right temperature and cool down properly, and then they machine it out. That means all of your tolerances will stay well within the specification to the print, to the schematic on the gun. And in this case, it'll be computer aided drafting, but everything will match and your tolerances will hold tight. A lot of your manufacturers today, they will have the gun in the white, that's what it's called, and soft, has not been heat treated. They machine it out, that way their cutter bits will last longer, whether it's carbide or high-speed steel, whatever kind they use. And they like to do that because it's quick and easy, and their bits last longer. Then they harden it, and sometimes the slide will warp just a little bit, just a few thousandths or half a thousandths, and now your tolerances are not exact. So I really like this company. TISAS is up and coming. They've been around for a while. They're from Turkey, and I know that's not American made, but neither is your car, your truck, or your phone. So let's get off our high horse on that. If you want something purely American made, buy a Colt, buy American made parts, put it in there, you'll have a 100% American gun. The same way with a Springfield. Buy a Springfield gun. They're no longer made in Brazil. They do all their forging in-house in America now. Buy a nice Springfield Garrison. Don't buy their new up-and-coming, new oddball ones. They're going to give you problems. But a Garrison or a mil spec. You can have it in parkerized, blued, stainless. I prefer stainless for carry because you can always take some 2000 grit. When you get your scratches on there, there is no base coat to go wrong here. You break out your 2000 grit sandpaper like that right there from Harbor Freight and go to town on it. You're not going to wear the gun out, and just polish the heck out of it with that, and it will always look beautiful. So now you have a little distillation there. Springfield Armory Garrison or Springfield Armory Mill Spec. And those both make very good base guns. They need very little done to them other than just get rid of the shrinky-dink M.I.M. parts. So I hope this was helpful to you. I hope that you will take the time to look at the pop-up drawings, pictures that I took on my phone. I will try to put them up here. They'll cover up the gun a little bit, but you can look at these points of engagement, these details, and you'll quickly see why this part right here failed me. This part, and this part both failed. This was not an M.I.M., but the cuts in this are very shallow, not enough ledge to sit on. If you had to hang on this by a wire or a rope or a string, and they could make one small enough, and you had to hang on that with it on that little ledge right there, you would not want to bet your life on it. If this one, however, had a very thin cable that could hold up your body weight, and it got latched into that piece right there, and that piece was welded to something or anchored to something, you could, I probably wouldn't do it at 1,000 feet, but 10 feet off the ground, I would put some pretty good money that that arrangement right there would hold you, even through vibration, somebody whacking you around, pushing you around in circles and stuff. This would hold you up. That is going to fail and let you fall to the ground, even from 10 feet. You might strain an ankle. I wouldn't want to do that. So I trust these parts, these tool steel parts made in Turkey by TISAS. I trust these parts. I trust my life with these parts. This is going to be my EDC coming up here real quick. I don't have anything left to do to put it back together. I only have this apart so you can see the difference in these two guns. Part of my distillation of my channel. So I hope you enjoy that, and we will see you back on the next video. And the next video is going to be me taking this gun and putting it all back together, every single piece, step by step, so you will know how to do that yourself. Thanks again for watching. Please click on some of those super thanks, those $1.99s. Let's get that coffee fund rebuilt so I don't fall asleep while I'm doing videos. And click on the like, the subscribe, and you'll get lots of brand new, free, up-to-date videos. Over and out for now.